Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching the replay or re-listening to this on Spotify, because Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. I am Dr. Lene Javette, and today's conversation is necessary. We're going to be talking about hip hop's damaging influence on Black women. Today's conversation is, of course, sparked by the recent passing of Enchanting. And pardon me while I read this stuff because I'm not a hip hopper, so I'm unsure. So I'm going to read this and then I'm going to introduce our queens who are going to be having this conversation today. So we're discussing the complex relationship between Black women and hip hop, addressing themes of hypersexualization, societal pressures, body image, and the influence of drug and alcohol. With the recent passing of rapper Enchanting at just 26 years old, it highlights the challenges that Black women face in the industry. We want to acknowledge her life and music while exploring addiction, and some of the horribly toxic things that come as a byproduct of hip hop music. Prior to her death, Enchanting was signed to 1017 Records in 2020 per New York's Hot 97 radio station. She appeared on three compilation albums before she left the label in 2023. The rising star reportedly died after being taken off life support at a hospital. In a statement to the Shade Room, a representative from her management team said the 26-year-old was suffering from withdrawals and had overdosed. She came to my house the last 4 days to get clean. She tried her best and did everything, and I did everything I could to help her. She tried, the rep told the outlet. The name of her last mixtape was called Love and Drugs. And so today we're going to be talking again about the damaging influence of Black women in hip hop. I'm joined today by there's four of us total, three amazing queens. Athena Gardner, she's a CPA and a women's wealth coach. Dr. Alicia Watkins, she's a couples coach, psychotherapist, and college professor, as well as Aisha Verzi, who's a licensed financial services provider. Let's start out with, how does the glamorization of substance abuse and music videos or lyrics affect Black women? Athena, we'll start with you.
Well, I think the glamorization of rappers and the music does affect women. Women as a group, I feel, idolize and look to other women for their style, their sense of being, and really try to emulate images of the celebrities and rappers that they see. So when it comes to the images, the hypersexualization, we often see that trickle down into our youth. I was thinking the other day, I was looking at some of the girls in middle school and high school. And I remember when I was in middle school and high school, and I was just like, oh my gosh, these ladies look so grown. They look so mature the way they're dressing. And I think that hip hop and the over sexualization of Black women have a lot to do with that. I also feel as though within that, it's almost like, okay, why do we need to have to even emulate that? Right? Why do I need to dress like a female rapper all the time? Like, what I would like for us to see as a group is some range, which I feel like on an individual basis we do. But as a collective, I would like to see more range, like lashes just to go to school. Like lashes, I don't even have lashes on right now, So
I don't ever wear a lot. Well, just the ones that God gave me. I don't like looking like Snuffleupagus. That's my own personal opinion. That's just for me. If other people like it, I don't be hating on what other people do. Just for me, I don't wear lashes. Miss Aisha, am I saying your name correctly? Aisha. Okay, perfect. So, how has music influenced your own upbringing? Not necessarily hip hop music today, but we're just talking about how music influences in general. How has music influenced you?
That's a great question, Dr. Leonard. It's so nice to be here with all of you. What a privilege. Thank you so much. I'm just really just sitting out here looking at all of you and just overjoyed with just being here. So thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, music, it's amazing how, like we're talking before, music does affect you. It's incredible how the lyrics, even though you might not be thinking about it, it does affect your mood, the way you think, the way you feel about yourself. And growing up back home in Nigeria, I'm from West Africa, Nigeria, music is a huge part of our culture. We sing songs of praise, songs of celebration, and just songs of thanksgiving. But in today's world, it's so different. When I grew up, it was more of something of joy and celebration, and again praise. And when we do that, we're laughing, we're happy, we're dancing, and it's also edifying. It edifies who you are. It celebrates who you are. It's not denigrating. It's not disrespectful. With today's kind of music, though, is so different. And I also don't listen to those music because I understand how powerful it is when those lyrics, what it does to you. But so grateful that growing up, the kind of music we listen to are the ones that uplift your spirit. Again, when you're celebrating life. You're thanking God. You're celebrating what God has done for you. So there's this joy that is not to disrespect your culture or yourself or others. That is not what we do with music. So that is what music has done for me personally, and I continue to stay on that lane till today.
I agree. I agree. Music has always been my go-to. Almost every morning I put my gospel on, so it sets the tone for my day, what I'm listening to. So my mindset is good and it's pure, and I'm ready to tackle the day. When I'm frustrated or irritated, I have a playlist I play for that. When I'm feeling like my heart is broken or I want to feel in love, I have love music. So music really does take us different places, and I want to talk about that with you, Dr. Alicia. But before I do, I want to talk to the chat. What are your thoughts on the influence of hip hop on Black women? And if you're a Black man in the chat, we can just make it. What are your thoughts on the influence of hip hop on Black people? Right, our conversation is Black women, but I think it can be broader than that. What do you think about it? And if you have children, do you let your children listen to hip hop today? Dr. Alicia, can you discuss the link between the societal pressures that are amplified by the hip hop culture relative to the music that we're listening to, the risk of substance abuse, over sexualization that's coming through the music? Can you address that?
Thank you, Lene. I mean, it's such a great question. I mean, we know that the glorification of these risky behaviors in hip hop, I mean, that's really what we're talking about. Like the issue with the substance abuse. I mean, it is promoted as a coping mechanism. And although I happen to teach a class on substance abuse, and 93% of Black women have no substance abuse issue. But, for that 7% that do, it just makes you wonder, like, what's going into some of these, the disconnect between the reality and what you see portrayed in real life. Now, the issue that I have with these images is that this promotion of irresponsible alcohol use coupled with promiscuous behavior, I think has detrimental effects. It's promoting this idea, especially for women in their childbearing years, this risk of fetal alcohol syndrome, which I think is a way more common instance than we know. It poses serious health risk for infants. And so it's not just a matter of individual well-being, it's this public health issue that needs to be addressed. And I think that women need to have access to accurate information and resources to mitigate some of these risks. And I think that this unhealthy promotion can have an effect on youth and people who consume this information. I also think that it just has an impact on your mental health, of course. Some of you all kind of alluded to it, Aisha, and even you, Dr. Lene, about how the music affects your mood. It affects, how you interact with the world. So it's just interesting. My first introduction into like acknowledging the influence of music on your subconscious mind in particular. I want to give a special shout out to Brother Panic. He was my initial teacher in the dynamics of subconscious mind programming, and I took his classes and all of that. And since then, I've been doing my own study on this. And I just think that we are powerful individuals, like all of us. And we create our own world through the subconscious mind. And now that you know this, you can understand how powerful music is in programming ourselves. So listening to what I would consider media controlled messages, it gets internalized and we start seeing ourselves in this way, and we start acting in ways where we're just running this program. It affects how we see ourselves, how we see other people, and it's played out in our daily world. So it's a simple concept of garbage in and garbage out. You are affected by the images and the messages that you receive. And I really think that the answer is just non-participation. We just need to not participate in it and instead focus our energies on things that help us achieve our God-given goals in this world. And I think if we did that, then, media controlled, and I think the industry is contingent on attention, paying attention to it. Consumer driven images, if we just stop participate on it and start focusing on things that, give us life, things that are positive, that is a way for us to kind of address some of these issues.
I think that everyone so far has done a great job in hitting on the different and various things, right? So again, our topic today is hip hop's damaging influence on Black women. I think that it is the drugs. I think that it is over sexualization. I think that it is the body image, the image of the body, right? We're seeing a lot of the surgeries that are being done. So there's the self-image. There is just various stereotypes that are being played out through the media, through the music. And then there is the desensitizing that's happening through the music, because we're saying things, we're speaking certain lyrics because it has a good beat. Molly Percocet, we're just singing it, we're talking about it, and people don't realize that what they're saying is registering, because we know that you have the power of life and death in your tongue. So when you speak things, whether you're affirming or not affirming, that's resonating in your aura. So music has a way of desensitizing us, where the word bitch becomes cool to say. We call our friends, our sister girlfriends bitch because it's desensitized. They say it in the music. Going to get BBLs, it's natural now because somebody else has it. This person got it, so I need to have it too. Media, music, messaging, marketing comes to us through those things, and it happens to Black women, and it's happening to our youth because our youth have access to social media at a much younger age, so they're seeing it, and it happens to the best of us. Can we play that clip, the clip with Nicki Minaj talking about how and or why she got her BBL?
Or and remember, social media was just beginning when I started. So I was like everybody. I was a lot of people's guinea pig. I was one of the first people to be shitted on the internet, on social media, like non-fucking stop. Every day I would go on, and it was some new story, made up story, or bad picture, or it wasn't acceptable to have surgery at all or anything, even though, and at that time I had never had surgery. I had ass shots, which till this day I realize, even what I did, and even with me not consulting with anyone to do something like that, how insane that was. Like, it's not that you go to a doctor, a professional person. No, it's some random person.
Yeah, shorty in the Bronx.
Comes in. I was in Atlanta
Queens.
at the time. And actually what happened was I kept on being around Wayne and them. And at that time, Wayne, he always talking about big booties and all. Wayne would have like a new chick in the studio every session. So it was always a new big booty.
Creative support. That's what I like to call it.
A new big booty there.
A muse.
Right. Actually, yes. Actually, it was. They were his muses.
You like to look to the side and see something with some ass sitting there while you're trying to come up with a line.
That's right. And
So How can we address the pressure to portray a certain image and encourage healthy coping mechanisms? What do you think, Athena?
Well, I think we really need to take a look at ourselves, because what's going to happen is this is an industry that makes a lot of money and is not going to change their business model to accommodate taste that is not going to be profitable. And we need to take a look at ourselves, right? Because if we're waiting on the industry to change for us to make these changes, to tune out these images, then it's just not going to happen. We need to change first, so then the companies and the corporations will adjust, because they will adjust to what is profitable. I would love for hip hop and Black women to get to the level of a Adele or Taylor Swift, where they can keep all their clothes on, do their talent, and go home. But unfortunately, there is a pressure to conform. Now, the solution would be on your individual level of wanting to curate the image that you want to present in the world and be respectable. But to be honest with you, we have other options of role models in the industry, like Rhapsody, or people, people who are fully clothed, have positive lyrics, right? Versus, I guess, would be the Cardi B's and the Megan Thee Stallion. So I think a lot of this is also a reflection of ourselves and our human nature and what we are paying into, because, to be frank, the corporations are just going to put money behind whatever is profitable. And if you're looking at Rhapsody's albums and mixtapes versus a Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion mixtape sales and pushing that image, you can see why they're choosing to do that.
I definitely personally feel and believe that it's a setup. I cannot think of any other genre of music that is as negative, derogatory, over sexualized, blatantly disrespectful than hip hop music. It's not in country, it's not in pop, it's not in rock. Hip hop is the only music genre that is uber super disrespectful. Dr. Alicia, I'm looking for my question. In what ways does the portrayal of Black women in the music industry affect mental health? I have to believe us listening to these lyrics, watching this play out in videos, affects us mentally.
It's oppressive. It's oppressive to see yourself in this limited way. And it's so staggering and so pervasive. There's no range of images that you see in terms of women in hip hop. And it did not used to be this way. I mean, I am so fortunate enough to be there during the birth of hip hop. It was positive. It was Afrocentric. It was, it was something that was uplifting. It told a story about what was going on around us. It was really our voice to authentically talk about what was happening here. And since this is before hip hop became controlled, right? This was just pure coming out of a very unique setting for Black people to tell their story. Now it is so ultrally controlled that all you see is Black women, and not even just in hip hop. I'm talking about Black women in media. All you see is very limiting views of yourself. And yes, I mean, just think about just think about what Nicki Minaj just said. If you remember Nicki Minaj when she first came out, she was not over sexualized. Her lyrics and stuff, she was kind of straight. She had that weird hair. Her hair was colored in a certain way. She looked really authentic. And then all of a sudden she comes out with this album. I'm like, who is this lady? This is not how she originally presented herself. So that tells you that she had a hard conversation with somebody. Clearly she did, where she had to change who and what she is in order to be successful. It's oppressive. And yes, it has an effect on your mental health. I mean, listen to what she said. She don't sound empowered in that conversation with that man. She didn't sound like she was being authentically herself. She didn't sound as if she was actually putting out music that was congruent to how she felt inside. It sounded oppressive. It sounded misogynistic. Some of the things that she was around. And, you know, artists are very sensitive people. I don't know if you know who I went to performing arts school, and I'm in this kind of art world, but it's entertainers are very sensitive, and they could be, you know, they feel so much of their worth is tied to the attention, the recognition to people have, because it's so personal to them. And I can't imagine not being your authentic self, putting something out that you know is not congruent with who you are, and then getting accolades for that, for being inauthentic, for being what someone has told you to be, therefore you can be successful. I can't imagine how terrible that feels, not only for us to see ourselves in that way, but for these artists and what they actually go through. Yes, it has an effect on your mental health. I mean, just think about putting your self-worth on how you look. So that means that you're going to be happy if someone compliments you, not on who you are as a person. Oh, you're a very great person. You're a genuine person. Yes. No, they're going to compliment you on these superficial things. And knowing how empty you might feel inside, because you're like, you know what? The world doesn't see who and what I am authentically. And I get the pressure. It's a very dynamic situation. The entertainment industry is, you know, a business, and you have to be savvy in how you operate in this business. But the impact that it has on your mental health in the end, just the depression that can come with being constrained, you know, the anxiety that you feel because a bad picture of you, or people, what Nicki Minaj talked about, the negative comments that she got online. That is really a real thing that happened to her. You know, in all of these things, how can you feel good about yourself and feel sound and know that you are living your life's purpose when you have all of these constraints?
Erica Badu said it best. She says, "I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit," and that's the truth, right? I think any artist. I'm an entrepreneur, and I can say the same thing. Whenever you are sharing your world or your art with somebody, it can be sensitive, right? You also talked about early music. I'm going to reset. I'm in a hot second, but you also talked about early music, and it was very different. It was very positive. It was uplifting. Danette Mitchell says, when I was growing up, we had ratchet music. However, in the Black community, we kept it underground and elevated positive music. This is when we owned our own radio stations and music stores. I can remember listening to a Tupac who's going to give you a little bit of ratchet, but give you something to think about. Dear Mama or Brenda Had a Baby, KRS-One. So you have a nice mix. Today's music, it's all pop that P, look at my P, suck this, bitch that. Like, there's no love music, there's no community. Like, when you want to, I think it affects our relationships. I think it affects how men and women relate to each other, talk to each other. I think it affects our relationships, our ability to communicate, our ability to love. um, Music is so powerful and influential, much like this conversation that we're having today about hip hop's damaging influence on Black women, right here on Fly Nubian Money, which we do every Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. You can catch us here. And you can also get notified when we're live if you text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948. Again, that's 87948. You can also catch us on Spotify by searching Fly Nubian Money to take us on the go with you. Aisha, I want to come back and talk to you. Given your Nigerian background, can you share some cultural differences between the music scenes in Nigeria and the United States, particularly regarding what's allowed to be discussed on the airwaves and how it influences societal values? That was a mouthful. You might be a mute.
Sorry about that. That's such a great question. And just listening to Dr. Alicia talking about the mental, how it affects us mentally. And what you also just said, Dr. Linnea, about the way it affects you and then how it makes you feel. It's amazing to me that today as well, hip hop now has now crossed over where it's now also affecting the culture back home where I'm from. I just recently had a visit back home, and I came back when I was there visiting, and some young people were talking, and I couldn't believe what came out of their mouth. And I know it's because of the hip hop culture and what they were listening to. They were literally referring to the African Americans with the N word casually. I stopped them. I said, "Do you understand that this is unacceptable?" But because of what the pop culture says, so they thought it was normal to speak like that. I was mortified, and I had to correct them that please do not speak like this. It is unacceptable. Again, because the music business doesn't care. They now are spreading all over the world, especially now in Africa, where our music for us was for praise and gratitude and celebration. Now it's becoming abusive. It's becoming abusive because you're watching as they're selling these products to them, and they're listening is now becoming what now they think it's okay. So when I went and I was visiting and I heard that, I literally stopped them and corrected. I said, "No, we're not going to do that here. This is not what we're about, because you think it's funny, or you think that is what you watch, and as you're watching these videos, it is not who we are." So ladies, it is crossing over. And unfortunately, it's about money. At the end of the day, it's not about caring about who we are, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made by God and to be respected and loved and cherished. No, they just want to make money. They don't care who is damaged as this is happening. And but for me, I make sure that even when I go back and I tell my brothers back home and my nephews and nieces that they're not allowed to watch videos like that, because this is not who we are. This is not how we were raised. This is not what our parents taught us. And that we have to stay true to who we are and not listen to those music, because we know it's not edifying. It doesn't add no value to your life. It only denigrates you. And now here you are calling your brothers and sisters that are from America the N word and thinking it's normal. So it saddened me that that was happening, but that is what's happening today. Again, we have to like you said, that we should make sure that it comes from us, Athena, that we should be the one making that move. We should be the one making that difference in our own homes, and making sure that we talk to our children and tell them that no, this is not part of our culture. This is something else. Somebody else is selling this to us, and we're buying it, but we were not going to buy it here. I'm hoping that is what we can do, as brothers and sisters in this space, that will make sure that we tell our children that no, this is not our culture. This is not how we're supposed to talk to each other or refer to each other, especially our women. An African woman, oh my goodness, she gave birth to the world. I said, you know how powerful you are. You give birth to the world. And now they're denigrating you with music by your own people, by your own boys and your own men, and think it's okay. It is not okay. It is not okay, because then you're allowing other people to look at you that way.
And what a lot of times what the youth, and we can say people, but mostly youth, don't realize is the verbiage, the language, the lifestyle, the drugs, the oversexualization. A lot of this stuff, the people who are rapping about it, they don't even do that. Some of these people come from 2-parent homes, good homes. They were like the life that they're rapping about, the image that they're portraying, they don't actually do in their real life. We're going to go to this video from Future talking about lean and the fact that he actually doesn't even use it. So let's cue that video.
Future regrets his influence on Juice WRLD, and the reason why will truly shock you. One of the first things that Juice WRLD told Future when they met up to make their 2018 record World on was that Future had influenced him to try lean. Juice WRLD told Vulture.com, "That's the first thing I told him." He was just like, wow. He kind of apologized. Future later reacted to this situation in an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, saying, quote, "When he told me that, I was like, oh what have I done? It really bothered me. It bothered me a lot. More than I thought it would bother me when he told me that. How many other 6th graders did I influence to drink lean? This really messed me up for a minute. It's all I could think about." Like, damn, what have I done? What have I done to other people? Regardless of his habits, Juice WRLD was one of the best to ever do it and will be remembered as such.
And so more accountability is definitely needed. More truth is definitely needed. More authenticity is definitely needed. I saw over in the chat some people were talking about, what about the parents? Why are parents letting them listen to this music? Listen, I'm only gonna speak for myself. I was young once. My mom didn't know what I was listening to. You, as a parent, you can make sure that you listen to all the appropriate things in the car. You can put on what do they call it? Explicit types of blocks on your child's phones. You can take the TVs out your house. They still got to go to school, and their friends is listening to it. They still got to ride the bus, and their friends is listening to it. They still see YouTube. Like, it's everywhere. Athena, how has music influenced you growing up? So I think I remember you saying you're 33. So you come from a different era of music than I do. So let's do that. Tell me what you're listening to right now, and then tell me how music has influenced you.
Well, I have a very eclectic musical taste. I am from the Caribbean, so obviously reggae and dancehall is a very big influence from there. I also listen to classical music. I listen to hip hop. I listen to pop. I listen to ratchet music. I'm going to sit here and be honest on the panel. I do like some of the artists that we have in question. I do listen to Cardi B. I do listen to Megan Thee Stallion. But I think the difference for me, though, is it's just entertainment for me. And because I'm not living in that lifestyle or culture, I'm not as, I guess, susceptible to that. I think what happens, especially with children, or depending on the environment, if your environment is conducive already to poverty, to drugs, to baby mama, baby daddy culture, the things that the music is promoting, I think it makes you more susceptible to fall into the influence and the trappings of the music more so than if you're not. That's just not what my lifestyle or upbringing was about. This music, what I will say is I've definitely seen a stark negative contrast to what we're listening to now. Even though I cherry pick which songs I listen to, I remember I was listening to a Sexy Red song and I was like, wow, are we really getting that descriptive, like sexually and body parts and all of that? Are we really going to that level to talk about, buttholes and different kind of diseases and, not caring about love or anything? I just want the D and that type of stuff. So yeah, I think it's getting worse. I don't think, and to me, there's a difference between artists' creativity and you just trying to be like as nasty and violent and raunchy as possible. What I do like about Megan Thee Stallion is that even though her lyrics, depending on what you listen to, might be questionable as well, there is an artistry there, there's a rhyme scheme there, there's a flow, there's wordplay there. I can appreciate that versus it really looks like with some of the artists, Sukihana, you're just picking somebody off the street a lot of these artists aren't even writing their own lyrics. It's a whole other thing as well. You're just picking somebody off the street, putting them half naked and be like, all right, wrap this and like package that product to us.
Thank you so much for that. If you're just tuning in, this is Fly Nubian Money. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. If you text the word Queens, QUENS to 87948, you can also get notified so that you know when we go live every Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock. If you miss us live, you can also catch us on Spotify. Make sure that you search for the word Fly Nubian Money and you can find us there. You can also get free resources, courses, and more if you go to the link down there, flynubianmoney.com. Thank you so much to everybody who is here. Thank you to my queens on the panel and those of you over in the chat. If you have any questions or you would like our opinion on anything, this is the time to throw it over in the chat and we will try to get to your questions. Aisha, you actually brought up a good topic, when you were talking about how the American music, if you will, is spreading over into the continent. We see a trend where women are influenced by hip hop, often referring to themselves with negative and or derogatory claims. You said over, you're starting to hear the N word, you're starting to hear different things. Were these types of conversations, wordplay, usage over in that area before hip hop music, or would you say American hip hop music has influenced that change?
Definitely, the culture has influenced that change. That was something that I was never privy to growing up back home. As a matter of fact, a lot of the words that they use are foreign to me. I was say, what does that mean again? I have to actually find out what it means because that is not kind of language we use back home, and we still don't. Anyway, my part of where I'm from, but the youth are the ones that are now using that. The older people my age, we don't talk like that, or we don't even know what those things mean or those words mean, because we were not raised that way. And the reason, those words, I think, are not becoming mainstream again is because definitely pop music, the music that we have from here, some of the young ones that come to school here, they study here, they go back home, they take it with them, and then now watching it from YouTube or going online, they can have easy access to it, and then they watch it over and over again because the beats are beautiful. Because as Afro people, we have such incredible talent when it comes to music and the beat, but the question is the words that we use. We never spoke those kind of words before. The word with the N word, I learned about it when I came to the United States many years ago. But of course, now that I'm here for many years, now I hear it more often. So it saddens me that before it was very rare, but now it's becoming mainstream back home. It's like, wow, this is unacceptable. And do you know that as we were driving when I was back home visiting just a few months ago, there was a bus that drove by as we were driving, and literally the company name was with the N word spelled Nigga. I said, do they know what that means? Do they understand what it means? But I think because they think it means something good, something positive, because that is how they understand it back there. Thinking we're living such a flashy life, it's fun. The only part that you will never see is the part that is derogatory, meaning the showing your body and your parts. That is not allowed. They will not allow you to show that. In my part of in the northern part of Nigeria, you can see that common, like showing body parts naked. You're not allowed to do that. They will not allow that. But in some other parts of Nigeria, they might do that because they're a little bit more, we'll say, traveled. They're more well traveled. But in my part, they will not show that. You have to see that underground. Like one of the comment was made that you do that underground. We know these things happen. We understand it, but it is not allowed to be mainstream. So when I saw that bus pass by, and I know it's because they don't understand the ramification or the weightiness of what that meant, because they thought when they see the pop music that it's normal. It's that is I think that's what the way they like to live their life. They're happy, they're enjoying themselves, not knowing that no, for us it's an insult. Let's not use those words or put it on our buses to say that's our company's name. So really, it's truly becoming a problem. When I went, I was like, wow, this is interesting. This is not what we're used to. But I'm grateful though, in that we don't have it on mainstream media back home where you can watch them showing casually girls doing things that are inappropriate or too overly sexualized. That is not acceptable up till today. That is not something you can see if you go back home and watch TV. Not acceptable. So I'm grateful that we still have that.
I wish we had that here. Dr. Alicia, so I'm going to make sure I set myself up for this question right. So it says, are there cultural stigmas within the Black community that might make it acceptable for what we're seeing and hearing? Because a lot of times when we're watching content or we're listening to songs or music, RJ, I am going to get to your question. I just want to ask Alicia this question. I'm going to come to your question right next. We're watching, we're listening, we're hearing, And then when we have a conversation like this, sometimes you hear somebody say, let people do what they want to do. The younger generation used to do it. The N word is R word. It's okay if I want to call somebody B. Are those cultural stigmas in our community that make those things okay? Like, why do we do that? Why do we say it's okay? It's not a big deal. If that's what they want to do, that's the younger generation. We listen to Luke. Like, why do we do that? Or what is that?
Okay, yeah. Let me put a pin in that question real quick, because that video with Future, I mean, he felt really guilty. I want to comment on that because he really felt guilty, and I wonder what he's doing about it. Like, when you realize and you look back at your behavior and you see how someone lost their life because of because of how powerful you are in influencing other people, what is Future doing right now to change that? Like, that's my question. That's my challenge to all of us. Like, we are powerful people and we have an impact on the people around us. And in a lot of way, in a macro level, these artists have a huge influence on the public. So now that you know this, now that Future know this and other artists know this, like, what are they doing? Like, I challenge all of us, including these artists, to really think about what to do with that guilt, because feeling guilty is appropriate. That makes sense. But to get over feeling guilty is to right the wrong. So my question is, what are you going to do about that? So I love that clip right there, because he was really, you could see the guilt in his face. Also, Athena, I agree with you. Yeah, these songs are so catchy. The music and the beats and all of that, it's like you can really get down. Like, there's a lot of artistry that comes into hip hop music. It's creative. It's something you have never heard before. But if you stop and listen to the lyrics that's behind the really great beats and the musical part of it, you start realizing, oh my goodness, how could you not be affected by these lyrics? And when you stop and think about it, then you can have a nice conversation about how it has an effect on you, which really leads into Dr. Lene, your question is that and also the question about from RJ. I see his question in there. Like, with my children, I'm realistic. I understand that I cannot cut them off from society, right? I can put limits on what the type of information they consume, but I am realistic in knowing that I can't stop them from listening to it. So if I see my children, any one of my children, listening to lyrics that is incongruent with our values, I have a conversation with them about it. I say, what do you think about what that person just said? And I'll stop. It's a teachable moment for me and for them to be able to say, okay, what do you think about that? Like, tell me what you think. And if parents have that conversation with our children, that's how you fight it, because it's not going to have an impact on your subconscious mind if you are consciously, on a conscious level, thinking about your thinking, thinking about what's coming into you. And if you have a conversation with teenagers and all consumers of this music, they will tell you, they will say, I think that's really terrible. Good grief, I can't believe this person treats themselves that way. If anything, as parents, raising the question, this video that we're doing right here on YouTube, it's just raising awareness of these concepts. Have a conversation with other people. What do you think about this? Is this who and what we are? Have you noticed that our images are controlled and very derogatory? What do you think about the misogynistic perspective in the lyrics of music? All rap music, I have yet to see a lot of it that's promoted in media. The lyrics of those music, it's hatred toward women. I mean, it really is. And internalized misogyny is what we see. A lot of rap artists, female rap artists, just have this sort of hatred that you are just this one note. And having these types of conversations is how we combat all of this cultural stigma that you're talking about.
Great. Thank you so much. RJ, so RJ's question was, my question is, do you think younger folks in my generation should be encouraged to listen to music that my parents were raised on? Absolutely. Yes. I think that there is something in passing down music from generation to generation. One, you don't lose, right? If I talk to somebody right now and be like, who is Luther Vandross? They won't know. Like y'all don't know who Luther Vandross is. Y'all know who the five like. Have you watched the Five Heartbeats? Like what do you what do you understand about music? The other thing is, they're listening to this music today, and they don't even know that they're remakes. Like they're what do they call it? What is it called when they samples? They're samples. Yes, they're sampling old music. So this song that you're grooving to that you think is the stuff, that's from like 10, 15, 20 years ago. So to have a good understanding of music, but also old music is old music. You can learn something. You're gonna hear something different. You're gonna feel something. So yes, I do think that. And then the other question from Danette: how do we fight against negative rap music as a community without being accused of practicing censorship or stifling an artist's creativity or messing with someone's money? Athena, how would you like to answer that question?
How do we fight against negative rap music as a community without being practiced or messing with someone's money? Listen, money is gonna go where it finds value and where people money is a reflection of people and their values. So we can't control messing with somebody's money. What we can control is, as a people, what we decide to do. There are artists, R&B artists, rap artists, hip hop artists that push a positive message, that have positivity, that does not get as much shine. I know when I was attending ABC, D1 was an artist that was there and that is doing a lot of positive things. Rhapsody is another artist that is doing a lot. So it really is a reflection of us as a people. And that's why I said we have to take accountability for what we indulge in and promote when. So if we were to say as a group, you know what? We are only going to support artists that have positive messages and images. We are only going to support artists that reflect certain music, and we're going to put our streaming time and our dollars behind that. Guess what these record companies would do? They would switch it up real quick. They would switch it up so fast. You'd be like, how did they even do that? Right? Now, every once in a while, artists will break through on creativity. So I'm even thinking of an artist like Missy Elliott. Such a huge Missy fan. I'm going to see her on tour next month, by the way. So I'm really excited about that. Busta Rhymes, okay? And not to say that they didn't have content that was salacious, because Get Your Freak On is definitely salacious. 1 Minute Man is definitely salacious, but it was not on the level of the, intense, graphic, sexual nature that we have now. What I do miss about hip hop is more so when what things were implied or innuendo. So even if you liked a song, unless you were of that age or you knew what that was, it kind of went over your head. Like some of the songs I listened to from back in the day. So like I was listening to Mariah Carey's Honey. If you listen to the lyrics, I'm like, oh my God, this song is totally about X, Y, and Z. But I didn't know because I was a child. But maybe it was good that it was innuendo. So the adults knew what it was, but the kids didn't. So I think we need to merge back to that. And I think we need to put our focus and attention on artists that we support as a community. But like I said, this issue is a community issue, and we have a hard time galvanizing behind anything. So until we galvanize in that way, we'll continue to be oppressed.
I like that. Aisha, what music are you listening to today? What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to spiritual music.
Okay. What kind of music? Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
What kind of music do your children listen to? Do you let them listen to hip hop? Do they listen to hip hop?
No, I don't let them listen to hip hop music. My son does listen to rap. He likes Kendrick Lamar and some of the artists in that genre. So but I talked to him about it. We talk about it. I said, so what kind of lyrics are you listening to? What are the words? And sometimes he will laugh about it and tell me, yeah, this is, but I say, well, I hope that you understand that music does affect you. So be careful what you listen to. But I'm like Dr. Alicia. I know that they will be exposed at school. I am very realistic about it. It's just to have that conversation consistently about that. But in my house, I listen to Christian music and everything, and they make fun of me. oh Jesus, because they make fun of me all the time, but that's okay. But they understand that that's important to me, that I value what I listen to, and they pick it up. They listen as they listen at home. They're hearing that the word of God is important, and as you're listening, because I say we are in this world, but not of this world. As you listen to this, it's going to happen, but know also who you are and what you're about, so that way you have that balance, so you're not off. But for me personally, I listen to really spiritual music. That's what I love. I used to love country music and the old hip hop, Luther Vandross, and all those people, Michael Jackson. But now that I'm older, it's just Christian music that I listen to, and allow them to listen to their music. My daughter, on the other hand, doesn't listen to any music. She's 12 years old. She doesn't have no iPhone, none of that. She doesn't listen to any music. She just does her little young girl stuff, and that's it. She doesn't know any of these artists. She doesn't know any of them, because we just don't listen to those artists here. So that's the things I'm listening to right now.
It's almost we're almost in a place where you can't listen to music, but we know you're not going to listen to music. We know you're going to listen to music. We know you're going to go out and enjoy yourself. We know there's going to be a variety of different musics, and we know that as parents we have some level of control over the music that they listen to for for a small period of time, because they will eventually not be under our rules, not be under our house, and they will listen to the music. They will see the videos. They will see the BBLs. They will hear about the drugs. They will see it. It will be pushed down their throat. It's inevitable, right? Dr. Alicia, what would you say to do, or what advice would you give to someone, whether they're a young person or an adult, who does not want the trauma of the music, of the visuals, of the words, of the negativity, of the misogyny? How do we operate and live and function in a world where this is just around us everywhere we go?
Yeah, I'm not certain about the trauma of listening to that music, but I do think that I think energy goes where your attention is. And I think that you just get in tune with who and what you are. You didn't ask me what kind of music I like. I enjoy I enjoy like medicine. I listen to a lot of medicine music because I like to spend times with native and indigenous populations, because I think they got it right. And I incorporate that into my life. Like everything around me has a symbolic meaning of something that I want to cultivate in myself and bring out into the open. I mean, I do believe that all of us are gods. We're all gods. We all create. All of us, especially women, are the wonderful creators, and we can plant the seed on how we want to. We can plant the seeds in our life today about how we want our world to be. And you have to make an agreement, with yourself. So you make an agreement that, you're going to surround yourself with things and ideas that reflects who and what you are. And, I think that we have to keep those things in mind, because it works. It can't not work, because we know it works. If it didn't work, there wouldn't be so much attention placed on controlling the minds of Black people. You don't have to really care. Who cares about what we do, as long as they control these images about how we are seen? These images are seen. We got to keep in mind, this is an election year too. How many hip hop artists do you think they're going to lean on to come out and tell us who to vote for and who not to vote for? I mean, we know that it's powerful, and the music is powerful. I mean, think about like Bob Marley. Remember when Bob Marley got all into political things? I mean, he was dangerous because he had the eyes of the masses and the ears of the masses, and he used his platform to talk about social issues. I mean, there's such beauty and such comfort in music. I mean, even in the civil rights era, music was so important in captivating and catching the feelings of what everybody was going through. So it is extremely powerful. And we have to understand how powerful that is, and just use your brain. I mean, have some critical thinking skills. I mean, we have in this video laid out the formula. We have laid out the theories. So now you can listen to this and go on without your life and see how the data fits what we've talked about today, how these images are the controlling images of Black men and Black women. I mean, the stereotypes of Black men is also portrayed in this. And I don't know what that feels like for men. We don't have any men here, but maybe they could, weigh in on this. How does it feel for them to be able to see themselves this way? I know how it feels to see my husband and my son portrayed in this way that has nothing to do with who and what they really are. So, I mean, I don't even know if that answers your question, but that's kind of what I had on my heart to talk about, about how we can take control. I mean, the thing is that so many of us I get it. I totally get it. We got to get up. We got to go to work every day. We got life things, adulting things happening in our life. How much time do we have to stop and to think and to reflect? Not very much. And maybe that's the rat race of it all. Like, we're trying to put food on the table and we're living, all of us are living our lives and have issues that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. We don't have time to sit and protest, what's going on with us. But I think we owe it to ourselves to give ourselves self-care and to really stop and think at some point to focus on what we want in our lives. And it's right there in our grasp. We can do and become anything that we want to do and become. So.
All right. So I'm going to go back to this comment from Sela Saint. And it says, you can't call yourself, actually, I'm going to read a couple of them. Let's be clear. Hip hop is a whole countercultural. Rap is the derivative commercialized musical genre people are complaining about. But the distinction between hip hop music and rap needs to be made.
So true.
You can't call yourself fly and demonize hip hop as a whole at the same time. It's very hypocritical when the word fly came from hip hop culture. So let me just address that.
Right.
First of all, nothing is ever demonized. We're not demonizing hip hop culture, the hip hop culture or rap. We're saying be accountable, be responsible for what you're saying and what you're doing as an industry, because it matters, right? It counts. If you're talking about Molly Percocets and you're making it a glamorized thing and you're then turning around and feeding that to the Black community, that's not what hip hop means. That's not what it started as. That's what hip hop started as and what it meant when it started before it became commercialized has changed. And what it has turned into is not acceptable. So it's not demonizing, it's holding accountable, which for some reason Black people have a hard time doing. When something is wrong, we need to say that this is wrong. We need to say, treat us better. We need to say, make better music for our children, or we need to take our dollars and go spend money somewhere else. So demonizing, holding somebody accountable is not demonizing. It's saying, I see you, respect us, respect the culture, respect Black people. Okay, so just wanted to be clear on that. We have 2 minutes. So we're going to make this really, really quick. We're going to go around the room very quickly, tell people where they can find you, how they can support you, and then we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We'll start with you, Aisha.
Thank you, Dr. Lene. You can reach me at aisha@rverzi.com. That's my name, Aisha the letter R, Verzi, VIRZI.com. Or I'm also on IG at Aisha Verzi, one word, GFI, which is Global Financial Impact. That's my where you can reach me. Thank you.
Awesome. What about you, Dr. Alicia?
Oh, okay. I'm unmuted. Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Dr. Alicia. If you're ready to take control of your life, you can reach out to me, make some changes in your life. You can contact me at coachingwithdralicia.com. I work with couples. I also work with individuals and families. You can fill out my intake and I will reach out to you. If you want to follow me on social media, the best platform is Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia.
Great job. And last but not least, Miss Athena Gardner.
Hi, everyone. It was so lovely to contribute to this discussion today about hip hop. My name is Athena Gardner. I'm a CPA and women's wealth coach. I help women level up financially. If you're a woman and you're interested in doing that, you can find me at wewealthwomen.com, on all social media at wewealthwomen, And listen to me on the We Wealth Women podcast on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Dr. Lene Javette. I am a monetization strategist as well as a business coach. I help Black service-based entrepreneurs who package and sell their expertise to brand their brilliance and triple their revenue. This is Fly Nubian Money. I'm going to say it again, Fly Nubian Money. And you can catch us at flynubianmoney.com if you are interested in getting some free financial resources, courses, or other things that are over there. If you want to be notified when we are online live every Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern, you can text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948, and you will be notified when we are live. You can also go to Spotify and search for Fly Nubian Money if you would like to listen to us on the go. Today has been a great day. We always appreciate you guys for tuning in, giving us your feedback. And you know what? Today I'm going to give a special shout out to our producers that do the stuff on the back end, that bring up the slides and make sure that your questions come up on the screen. So we want to give a shout out to our actual production team as well. But again, thank you so much for tuning in on today. We will see you guys tomorrow. Remember to stay blessed, be Black, and be one. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.